Welcome to Shame Watch, a guilt-free dive in those massive movie failures that we hate to love. Each week, we look at a movie that either we or our guests love, but society shames them for. We peek in each nook and cranny for every bright spot, keeping the public at bay while watching these movies like the miracles that they are.
Start talking, James.
I'm James Fight, one of the hosts of this great podcast that we all love and admire. Down below me, he's the editor. He is also known as Big Comfy. His name is
Aaron Salinas, editor, all-around nice guy, cool dude here at Shame Watch, also one of your hosts. And below me, he is the chief archivist of ShameWatch.com.
That's right. It's Kenny Madison, and the last person that's been left off the list is what we consider to be the least contributing member of the entire group. Introduce yourself.
Shots fired.
Me? I carry this pod. What are you talking about?
I think that was the joke, Olivia.
They're just being salty right now because right now, note for the audio, I am not on video because your girl is practicing self-care. And I got a chemical peel yesterday, so I look like a hot tomato. But yes, I'm Olivia Slappin' Swadas, Olivia Slappin' Self-Care Swadas. I am the social media manager of Shame Watch, and I'm also your beloved co-host and the co-host for Shame Watch TV, which, you know, stay tuned because season 2 is coming up.
I really thought you were going to say because I'm practicing social distancing, and because that's why you didn't have your camera on. I was like, Wait.
I mean, we all are, though, so it didn't make sense to say that.
Yeah, you were finishing your sentence, and I was like, oh, Aaron, you're dumb. You did not let, I'll pay $30.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Today, friends, we're killing vampires and walking in daylight and being real snarky as we follow one of our favorite vampire hunters, Blade.
Woo!
Whoa!
Since we're covering, should we give this month a cool name, like we did with Wild Speed Summer? Aaron, find the sound effect.
I don't.
Yeah. Damn. Should have met.
Remember how we thought long and hard about Wild Speed Summer, and now we're put on the spot to come up with a fun name right now?
My first suggestion is Wild Snipes Summer.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
I
like that.
I just thought of that.
I like that.
Snipe Summer.
Even though
So
we're covering Blade.
Whistler Snipes Summer. Combining everybody.
Sure. I'll also throw out Snipe-tober.
But we're not. It's June.
Right.
It's about to be July.
This June, it's Snipe-tober.
Okay. Okay. So we watched Blade. This was the first time I watched it.
The first entry in Snipe-tober.
Yep. I guess that's canon now.
Celebrating Snipe-tober and starting it with a bang.
I kind of wanted to. Let's do another month, like Snipe-uly.
Quick sidebar. If the court
Snipe roll.
Granted.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. I believe Kenny's amazing Star Trek commentary was episode 86, correct?
It's technically a bonus episode because it's considered outside of the norms.
Okay. What episode are we currently technically on?
We're on episode 83.
Okay.
Okay.
So we still have 4 episodes until our media law talk episode. That's right. You wanted it. We said it. Episode 87 is media law of Shame Watch. So
I'm getting flashbacks to like junior year of college.
I was gonna say I didn't pay attention in college during media law.
This one was an 8 a.m. class for me. I was like,
same, dude.
Next month we're covering media law in entertainment on Shame Watch. Get hyped, get ready. That's what we're doing. It's canon.
Snipe-uly.
There it is. We won. That's it. That's it. That's the
Screaming.
I am on Theta 6. We're back.
But yeah, we'll cover media law. But right now, we're covering.
That's next month. Because that's 4 episodes from now. Episode 87.
Right.
So August?
Yes.
I've lost track of time since being quarantined.
Me too. Me as well.
I think you mean Logist.
August. I love that.
That's right. We're going to be covering every TV show or every movie that has a log cabin in it in August. Cabin in the Woods. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Friday the 13th. Covering them all.
Oh,
You heard it here first, folks.
I watched all the Friday the 13th movies.
I don't like scary movies, so I should say, even though Blade wasn't technically supposed to be like super scary, this was my first time watching it, and there's a reason why I watched it in broad daylight.
Because he could protect you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's able to. But no, I'll admit, look, there are a couple of parts in here that is kind of scary. Like, I know we'll get to it, but like the charred body when it comes back to life.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
That was pretty spooky.
Well, yeah.
Well, let's get some context from Kenny, the context Madison.
Yeah, Kenny, it sounds like we all love this, but I'm sure there's people who don't love this movie.
Well, Mr. Fight, as per usual, you're 100% right. In a review, we're back, baby. In a review, celebrating Snipe-uly. In a review titled Bloody Blade Has Fangs, but No Bite. Posted Wednesday, September 2nd, 1998 at, James, write this down, 3:59:32 p.m.
Thank you.
Damn.
Reviewer Paul Tatada on CNN. What in the world is Wesley Snipes doing? This guy is an honest-to-God actor, but in recent months, we've seen the results of his increasing tendency towards serving time as little more than an action director's plaything. See U.S. Marshals. In Blade, Snipes, playing the titular vampire fighting hero, kicks, shoots, burns, punches, gouges, pierces, and generally guts hundreds of people under the guise of good old-fashioned Hollywood escapism. You've never seen so much blood and whoosh, boom, zap brutality in your life. And again, I mean that as a criticism. In the film, Blade rescues a young doctor, Nabuche Wright, who's been chomped by one of the undead after achieving a higher level of street cool courtesy of the unflinching resetting of the doctor's dislocated shoulder. Snap! Blade takes her to a secret hangout. There she meets his partner in killing, Abraham Whistler. Chris Christopherson, of all people, plays Whistler with paunch in full view. Incredibly clever commercial movie joke. When we first see Whistler, he's listening to Bad Moon Rising on his tape deck. The rest of the picture consists of Blade and the Doctor tracking down the chicest, most hot-headed of all the vampires, a fashionable little guy named Frost, Stephen Dorff. Frost always looks like he's battling seasickness, with off-green being his flesh's favorite hue. And lest we forget, he's got great shirts. Director Steve Warrington shuns subtlety to the same degree that his character shuns sunlight. Making everybody a vampire and pretending that there's a story behind it is a very thin pretext to butchering folks on camera. Plain and simple. It may not be the official intention, but it's the fully expected result. If audiences are trying so desperately to escape whatever's got them all worked up in their daily lives, how is this any better?
It's better because Wesley Snipes is real snarky.
Yeah, he's Blade. That's how
it's great.
It's better.
I love all of this movie. It was.
That's been our episode of Shame Watch. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
What's that?
Okay, I've been waiting like this whole episode to just like I'm just gonna be dropping a lot of thirst jokes. because, as you know, vampires be thirsty. I want to say for Deacon Frost, he was thirsty for blood and for power, but I was thirsty for him. I mean, hey.
Sure. He did it for you, Olivia?
I mean, like, let's be honest. If I was in, like, 1990s, like, late 1990s, you know, era, like, grown up, of age, you know, I would have been okay with having him as a bae.
You're a Steven Dorff fan?
I mean, I don't know too much about him, but, I mean, I'm a woman who loves power as well. And I think as long as he would see it as a partnership, I would be okay with that.
Olivia, are you a Slytherin?
So here's the thing. Sidebar, permission for sidebar?
Granted.
Okay.
Granted.
Kenny?
You're a Slytherin. Should I grant this?
You should respect the fact that I asked.
That's true.
Warn you, counselor. Tread lightly.
All right. Well, and this is, you know, I'm not even going to talk about like J.K. Rowling's recent, you know, statements about against the trans community. So all that aside, here's the thing. My whole life have identified as a Ravenclaw, but then I always thought, you know, maybe I could be a Gryffindor because, you know, I have been known for like acts of bravery, like you know, me asking my own date to prom because feminism, and just other stuff like that, quitting my job like when I was about to be demoted, things like that. But it's come to my attention recently that I may be a Slytherin. I may have always been a Slytherin because I thought, you know, you associate Slytherin with evil, but really it's just like there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and going after what you want.
Oh.
And also I look great in green. So end of sidebar.
Oh,
but yes, to go back to Deacon Frost, I mean, was he the best kind of leader? No. But I think having the right woman beside him, like, I would have tamed him.
Are you looking for someone to tame?
No comment.
That's the subtext of that is a yes.
Mercy.
That's been our episode of Shame Watch.
Aaron, what do you think of this movie?
Do we want me to get in on this already?
Oh, Aaron, do you not like this movie?
You're right, Aaron. Skip over it. James, what did you think?
I love this movie. It was so much fun. Johnny, my roommate, he just walked into me watching it. What?
Past and future guest, Johnny.
Yes. And like we were laughing and cracking up because it was just so like I love the snark and I love the action and it was just awesome. Truthfully, that propelled myself, Johnny, and my other roommate Nolan to start an 80s action movie night.
Oh shoot.
Ooh.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So now we're gonna watch one today too. But last week after Blade we watched Predator.
Oh.
Very good. What are you watching today?
I don't know. We have to choose. We came up with an entire list, so we have a whole list on the fridge, on our little whiteboard on the fridge that we have to watch.
Picture?
What?
I want to see what your list is. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I'll take a picture. Not now, because I'm recording the podcast.
RoboCop?
Yes, that's on there. Like any iconic 80s movie, action movie is probably on there. I think Die Hard's on there.
Perfect movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw that on Father's Day with my dad.
Tracks.
Yeah, nice. That's a good choice.
Yeah,
Should've-
it was awesome.
With Hudson Hawk, Olivia.
You know what?
Yes.
Independence Day is on there.
Shush it.
It's about time.
I might actually watch
Yes.
Independence Day. So, Tyler, if you're listening, I'm sorry once again, and I'll finally watch your movie that you suggested over a year and a half ago.
James, what's your address?
I'll send it to you via the chat.
No, just say it.
No, that's all right.
James' address is
69
That's right, 6969 Cool Guy Street.
9-1. The one likes to
He
watch.
lives in the Thirst Trap Hollow community.
It's like the Shire from Lord of the Rings, but there ain't no shy going on, if you know what I mean.
And
I'm
great-
so wrong.
But you have to pass through consent circle because, we have no choice but to stand an ally.
That's very true.
I mean, we do have a choice, and we choose the good path.
Yes. But you know what I mean.
Always.
Yes.
Yes.
Kenny, what'd you think of this movie?
I liked it.
Okay. Want to expand on that?
I personally, I just don't think it's my aesthetic. It's a very serious movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
But also I appreciate it so much just contextually. I don't know what you guys know about this film's place in the superhero canon, the superhero movie canon.
I know it's Marvel.
Oh boy, howdy! This is the first Marvel film since Howard the Duck in 1986.
Is it really?
First theatrical one. There had been
Right.
direct-to-TV ones, but this was at this point, according to a rad oral history from Entertainment Weekly that I found, Marvel was in bankruptcy. Like they were at the bottom.
Whoa.
And
Now the bottom. Now we're here.
Mm-hmm.
had to start out from the bottom, and now they have the number one highest grossing film of all time. Go figure. Marvel was in bankruptcy. The superhero movie was kind of, well, I guess not exactly dead, considering this movie came out in 98, and the thing that kind of put the nail in the coffin was Batman and Robin. So sorry.
Nail in the coffin. Get it? Vampire playing coffin. I see what you did there, Kenny.
Oh boy.
Proceed.
And according to the oral history, Wesley Snipes was just looking to do some sort of superhero movie. It was between either Black Panther, Luke Cage, or Blade, and Blade was the one that they went with, obviously.
Huh. Interesting.
And it had been in development hell since 1992 when New Line Cinema was given the IP, or was given the Marvel was very bankrupt. 96 they officially declared bankruptcy. I believe it was 96, but they they were giving away rights to properties throughout, just trying to make some quick cash. There was a Fantastic Four film that was made, but did not get released.
Yes, made heir to the Vidal Sassoon empire.
Really?
Yeah, man.
No shit, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, they also then, hold on, I took some notes on this. In 1993, Toy Biz got involved with this, and that's when Avi Arad was one of the developers for Toy Biz, and he was telling Marvel, he was like, you guys don't realize the cash cow you're sitting on for the film industry. 96, they went broke, and he is quoted as to being, he's quoted, and everybody made fun of him because he said Spider-Man alone as a film is worth $1 billion. And they said, you're outrageous. No one's going to take you seriously. And Avi Arad was like, no, I guarantee you, if you start making films, people are going to watch it.
Yeah.
And New Line had a Blade. They were sitting in development hell since 92. 96, Batman and Robin sucked. You can catch that episode about that poignant film in my life.
I think we all like that movie here. We all stand the legend. We all love Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
it is a legend, and there's some Kingsville legends of their own in that film as well. So I greatly appreciate that film.
Especially, may I request a sidebar, because Aaron, I'm genuinely interested in all the other stuff that you have about Blade. But may I request a sidebar?
Granted.
I don't know. You said that I did the least amount of work, so give me like 2 seconds.
Sorry.
Granted.
What can I do to fix our relationship, Olivia? I will literally do anything.
Let's find some way to get James to watch Cats again.
No!
I
What?
think we should
Why
conspire.
did you roped into this? I wasn't doing anything.
Will Stone, may I request another sidebar? I've got 2 sidebars.
Granted.
Granted,
Now I'm hesitant.
James, I will straight up give you $100, not a bit, if you watch Cats again.
All right.
We'll live stream it. Put it on the Shame Watch Pod IG live.
Yeah, you've got to have a receipt, so there's proof. And then, if that's the case, I will give you $100.
Fine. Easy. Done.
Right.
Easiest gig ever. Thanks.
You have to actually watch it though. None of this like I'm gonna try to take some thirst traps and send them to, potential love interests while you're watching Cats.
Well, what else am I supposed to do? That's all I do all day.
what if that's one of our new commentary episodes? Is James's cat?
Oh, you want me to do commentary on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I just ordered my new mic setup, so
So Kenny, what was your other sidebar?
Thank you so much, Court. In that sidebar, original sidebar beginning, I really like Batman and Robin contextually now because Batman fandom sucks so much. Like they're like the DC fans are so toxic. I followed so many film critics online that are so attacked by DC Extended Universe fanboys that are like, right, but Batman's got to be dark and he's just like psychologically interesting and he's dark and it's cool. And I'm just
Snyder cut.
But let go Batman. Like that's genuinely disappointing that that's happening. Like I think we might have already talked about the Snyder cut a little.
Snyder cut.
It might have been like in the pre-show comments, which by the way, if you sign up for Patreon, you can have access to.
At which
True.
level, Olivia?
Oh, $5. I knew it. I was gonna say 5.
But like, it would be one thing to just let Zack Snyder come in and finish his movie without the rest of the context. But like the people that have been demanding the Snyder cut, which doesn't exist, they're creating it, are so toxic and gross, and it's just sending the wrong message. It's super disgusting and gross. And Batman and Robin has Arnold Schwarzenegger making corny jokes, and Robin and Batman have ice skates.
And the bet credit card.
Uma Thurman's delicious. They've got toys. It's so much fun.
And not to mention the director recently passed, Joel Schumacher.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so R.I.P. Schumacher. You were the first film I ever saw in a theater, so thank you so much.
Oh.
You're near and dear to my heart in that regard, man.
If you guys want to watch those movies, I uploaded them to my Vudu account. So
Hey.
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin in glorious high def. Anyways, in sidebar, Aaron, please continue. Your notes are lovely.
Well, Aaron still hasn't told us how he felt about it. We skipped over it.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting there. But yeah, so Avi Arad said Spider-Man alone is at least worth $1 billion, and Marvel's trying to keep themselves afloat because at this point in time, in just life in general, the price of the comic book had nearly doubled, if not tripled. So people were not willing to pay for an expensive piece of medium that was no longer good. Comics were at a point in life where they weren't good. There was oversaturation. There was too much of it. Nobody really cared about comic books. So Marvel was holding on to near death, or holding on to dear life. They were on their way out. DC had a stronghold of the films at this point. Superman coming out in the 70s to huge hits. Those Supermans are my dad's particular favorites for superhero films.
I mean, yeah, the first Superman movie honks, and then Superman 2 aren't good as well. And
they're just good, yeah.
And then there's also Supergirl, which you'll hear us talk about at some point.
That's coming out.
It's coming.
But yeah, so Marvel was at a point in life where they were just looking for anything, and up comes a day-walking vampire, half-human, that is a total is made into a total badass, because Blade's original artwork was a little more campy. He had like a green jacket with like yellow spikes. He was still black in the original one from Monster House. Blade was one of my first comics I ever received. My mom gave it to me.
Nice.
I love the Blade IP. Blade. If I'm not mistaken, I saw Blade before I saw Spider-Man. I was young. I was under double digits. I don't think I saw it when it came out in theaters, but my mom really liked the movie, so it was a big TNT hit. I remember that, and it was always on TNT.
Yeah, this strikes me as a TNT movie.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, it was edited, but anytime it was on TNT, my mom would watch it. You know, she'd be watching it while cleaning the house. So that's when I was watching it. When it was just on, and it was a Saturday afternoon. You know, it's kind of hard to keep your kid from keep an eye on them at all times like that. So I would just kind of watch it there with her, and it was kind of scary. And she would kind of like tell me about the parts that were kind of scary and like when to tone it down a little bit. But I love Blade. I have always loved Blade. Blade was I got my mom the Blade trilogy set. That was the first Mother's Day gift I paid for out of my own pocket.
Nice.
Was the Blade trilogy set.
Aww.
And yeah, it's a weird relationship me and my mom have.
Oh, you Blade boy, you.
Yeah, we watched Predator together while setting up the Christmas tree. I bought her the Blade trilogy set. Like it's a weird thing. But yeah, she loves Blade. She just likes vampires in general very much, like the Bram Stoker.
I mean, this movie was coming on the tail end of Vampire, or maybe not necessarily the tail end. It might have been smack dab in the middle of Vampire Fever, because there was there was Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. There was Interview with the Vampire, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and
there was.
Just come out in 97. I think Angel will come out the next year.
No,
yeah, 98 sounds right.
Angel didn't come out until their third season, so it'd be like 99 or 2000.
So this, I mean, it makes sense that Wesley Snipes was looking for some sort of Marvel character, and it makes sense that they landed on Blade because this would be the surefire thing, because it's not just a superhero thing. It's also kind of a vampire thing. So cashing in on something that's superhero adjacent, because superheroes cinema was not the juggernaut, no pun intended, that it is today.
Angel came out in 99.
Yeah, it's the third season.
I have a cool sidebar if y'all will grant me permission.
Granted.
Okay, cool. So it's funny that we are talking about this film right now, because I just started watching the series What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
It's based off of the 2014 film starring Taika Waititi. And it's a great show. It's on Hulu. And it's actually hilarious because in season 1, the three vampires and the familiar who are called to question for this particular crime, they have to go to a vampire council, and Wesley Snipes is like there via like Skype, and they're like, oh, he's a day walker, like he's allowed to be in sunlight. But it's funny because the running gag is that he has like Wi-Fi issues because they're underground. And so like having never seen Blade until now, and I just watched that episode, I was like literally LOLing because it made so much more sense.
Yeah, that joke lands a lot more now, because I know I've also seen the show, but it was way before I watched Blade. But yeah, I want to rewatch that because that's such
and it's just so funny because like I learned because of that show, like I mean the only kind of familiarity I had with vampires was I hate to say it was Twilight, which is not a good example, but to be fair, like
it's a valid example. It's a valid vampire canon.
But watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer; it's really good.
And
you know, we'll see. This
you
was like
watch TV with me on Buffy.
We can definitely talk about it.
That sounds like a no. I've heard enough no's from women in my life to know that's a
okay. No. Here's the thing. Another sidebar. So. I watched this film in broad daylight because your girl is just not really big into like horror and blood and all of that. Not really. Except for if it's like an Italian mob movie and somebody gets shot in the head. But anything that's been like, mythical creature. I've just never really been into that kind of stuff, but I did enjoy Blade. So Buffy, I don't know, like if maybe it won't be as bad because it's like pure 90s and
Buffy is way more campy than Blade.
Okay. Well, like Blade wasn't as bad, and then just like the parts that were a little too much for me, because again, I'm a little squeamish. Like I just turned away. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to really talk about what we do in the shadows. It was hilarious. 10/10 recommend.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that movie is a perfect movie. I really need to check out the TV show.
I still need to watch the movie, but the theme song to the TV show it slaps real hard.
It does.
That's the theme for the movie. You should, James. Do you have a library card?
No, I do not have a library card.
You should get a library card. I just got a library card and was able to sign up for Hoopla and Canopy.
Oh, Johnny has Canopy.
Yeah. I think what we do in the shadows might just be available on Canopy. It's free. It's absolutely free.
Well, I know what I'm doing later today.
Honestly, sidebar.
Granted.
The Austin Public Library card is honestly great. You can do a lot of services through it. You can get ebooks, rent online. It's honestly a wonderful thing to have in your life.
Yes. And if you don't live in Austin, like please seek out your local library because
I think this is a perfect time for our new sponsor, libraries. Hi, this is Shane Watch with our sponsor, Libraries. Everyone go to your local library and experience their great services. Hey, reading makes a better future. And that's a good ad, y'all.
I mean, honestly, I've been able to check out 2 Spike Lee movies that are only available in library-based video rental services.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, what was it? 25th Hour and Summer of Sam. Well, I guess you could technically rent them, but they're available for free on Hoopla.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
It's great.
Yeah, go to your library. Our ad was genuine.
Olivia, go to the library.
Oh, boy, I've had a library card for like 3 years, so you don't have to tell me twice.
Nerd alert.
We stand intelligent women.
Yes.
I am the one carrying this pod. So
Also true.
So, I was wondering if James would remember this. James, were you a big fan of the Spider-Man animated series?
Yeah.
You might have caught. You might have caught one of the first glimpses of Blade in a medium. That was Blade's first appearance. Was in Spider-Man Season 2, Episode 9.
Really?
He's a little whitewashed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. For that 90s cartoon, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that was they created Whistler for that specific episode, and Marvel liked him so much that they made it canon.
That's awesome. Oh,
yeah.
I love that TV show. I grew up on it. Me and my friend Michael would always, he would sleep over Friday night, so in the morning of Saturday, we'd watch the new episode.
That's pretty badass. That's pretty cool.
And which was followed by Power Rangers.
that sounds like the dream, honestly.
It was pretty great.
Yeah, that's but yeah, so David S. Goyer is the writer of this film, and the reason he's important for this is does anybody else remember David S. Goyer? Kenny?
Nope.
I do.
Tell me about David S. Goyer.
He's the dude that basically dragged the current comic book landscape into where it is now with co-writing Batman Begins.
Whoa.
And then having a story credit on Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and then being the screenwriter for Man of Steel, and is basically responsible for the everything's got to be real and gritty take. Like, that's one of the reasons why this movie feels just the way that it is. It's so dry. And that's just because of David S. Goyer and his preferences.
Yeah, right on the head, because New Line said, we want this campy. We want this for the teenager to come in and enjoy it. And David S. Goyer said, nah, we'll do what I want to do. And created this real-world, gritty character, and New Line said, all right, we want 3. Here's your option for Blade: Lawrence Fishburne, Samuel L. Jackson, or Wesley Snipes. And without argument, he just said Wesley Snipes is Blade. And that's where they took it from there. And Wesley Snipes took it so real, so seriously. He created the fight choreography for this film.
That's awesome.
And I believe he's a black belt in Taekwondo. I know he's a black belt in something else, I think. But he's just a wonderful martial artist. And the only thing that would make this movie better is they originally wanted Jet Li for Deacon Frost.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
Oh.
That'd be really cool.
I would have still been Deacon Frost's boo.
Yeah, Jet Li hot, you know?
Yep. His collaborator.
So, because I was thinking about this, because Wesley Snipes strikes me as an errands boy.
Very much.
Do you know much about Wesley Snipes just in general, Aaron?
Not a whole heck of a lot. I really wish I did. I know his. Unfortunately, as he got older in his career and his life, he wasn't the friendliest of people.
No.
Episode.
Yeah, Blade. We'll hold that for Blade Trinity.
Hold it.
But as far as like classics go, like White Men Can't Jump, Demolition Man, I remember those, but I remember those films, but I don't hold them near as dear as I do Blade.
Yeah.
Or the Blade trilogy.
Yeah.
Just because like he's just so cool, man. Like him just grabbing his sunglasses is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Like,
slow-mo.
Yeah.
And
So cool.
It's so cool. Like this film alone just makes me feel, like as soon as I start watching it, I just turn into like, you know, a 12-year-old kid, like just like, or a 4-year-old boy watching monster trucks. I'm just like, yeah, look at that.
That's
Cool.
exactly how I felt. It was
Like-
cool as shit.
when I was
Yeah.
watching that fight sequence, I was like, that was me pre-COVID when all the creepy guys tried to dance next to me at the club,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to fight them off. You know,
I
I
was
saved
like-
it all. I'm a hot tomato.
Like even that part's cool, man. Like the club scene when he walks in and like everybody
Oh
like,
my
clears
God.
the room for him.
yeah, and it starts bleeding. Yeah.
Free social
Oh.
distancing.
It was just so cool, man. But yeah, I wish I've watched more Wesley Snipes films, and like especially now because I feel like he's almost a meme.
Sure.
Almost like Expendables 4 or Expendables 3, whichever one he was in. The Mr. Peanut or the Baby Peanut commercials. Like now he's just trying to get money for his tax evasion.
He's in Dolomite Is My Name, which is a movie that I loved.
Oh yeah.
Also love that movie.
He's so good in it. And when Wesley comes to play, he comes to play, but he has to make sure that he is engaged. And I just looking at the background of this movie, it's very clear that Wesley Snipes, like this is a Wesley Snipes project through and through. It's not necessarily he's a hired gun, even though the studio was like, can we get Denzel instead? Because Wesley Snipes came in and made this his own thing. Like this is part of his creative vision as well. That's so clear.
Like, I think if Denzel ended up being Blade, it would have done fine, but it would have been a little bit of a different movie. You know?
Yeah.
Like Wesley Snipes, like having not seen this movie before, but knowing that he was Blade, it made perfect sense as just a viewer. Like he just really did a really good job portraying that character.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he had like, if not total control, a good amount of control on the costume. And I can never see a different costume for Blade.
Yeah.
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 Like, granted, yeah, I mean, no spoiler alert here, but Mahershala Ali is the new Blade.
Yeah.
You can't do any other costume. Like it needs to, I'll say it. I think he kind of made it okay for the costumes to be different in animated films to make them a little more realistic. Because at that point, we'd gotten Superman and Batman, and those cowls had stayed the same.
I mean, this movie is kind of responsible for the superhero genre coming back, period. Like, like without this movie, there would be no X-Men movie. There would be no Spider-Man movie. This is the first shot across the bow that shows studios that Marvel properties can be financially viable. And this movie was made on the cheap as well and did well enough to garner 2 other sequels and then a TV show as well. And yeah.
You got a TV show? What?
Yeah. There's a Blade TV show. Should we cover a little bit of the Blade TV show?
I think we should. That's fair.
I mean, we can definitely. I would be down. I'd be down. We gotta sort out some seasons because we did push back 90 Day Fiance, and the Bachelorette. The Bachelorette is airing in September.
I'm pretty sure that there's a feature film cut of, I think, maybe the first 3 episodes or so we could treat that just a normal episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this...
For Snipe-uly?
Yeah, for Snipe-uly. The Blade TV show starring Sticky Fingers.
What?
Sticky Fingers.
Okay.
It's the star of the Blade TV show. Do you know, Aaron, do you know the story about Mahershala Ali getting Blade?
Didn't he call Kevin Feige and said, "I want to be Blade"?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and
I think after his Green Book Oscar.
Yeah, it had to have been because, I just remember. I remember Kevin Feige came forward about that story right at the announcement. Like,
yeah,
they were talking about the next phases. And he said, and our next edition for the phases, and Mahershala Ali walks in and then puts on a blade cap, a blade like hat.
Yeah.
And he says, when Mahershala Ali calls you and says he wants to be Blade, Mahershala Ali is Blade. And so here's my thing, because I think we have to give Wesley Snipes a lot of credit for what he did.
James, here's his thing. Here's Aaron's thing, James.
You got to make him Whistler.
Oh, shoot. That's good. That's a good idea.
You got to make him Whistler, man. Like
that would be amazing. Like, it would just make everything come full circle.
Right? Like, and my only thing is, Wesley Snipes might never look old.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how hard you try, if you put 2020 Snipes next to 1992 Snipes, virtually no difference. Like,
yeah,
maybe just beefier, not necessarily, like super buff, but he's just a little bit thicker.
Like a situation where you put
yes.
next to young Will Smith and you're like, is one of these characters supposed to be younger than the other one?
Yeah, just like what's the difference? So you could touch on like some sort of elaboration that he was but no, there's only one Daywalker. But like, yeah, just like he's developed a serum to help with aging or something like that. Because I think that would be so much fun. But the thing is, there can only be like one, and he's such a domineering force in the camera. Yeah, I don't know if he'll give up that much camera time to Mahershala.
I think Wesley Snipes has been a little bit humbled in recent events, and also, especially now, I think that's such a slam dunk idea, and it would be such an easy paycheck.
Seriously,
yeah. I forget where I heard this amongst the scuttlebutt, but it might have been Blank Check. It might have been the Infinity Pod, but the scuttlebutt was that Marvel was developing some sort of Blade project, and they were looking to have this next thing, not the Mahershala, but like a previous version that won't see the light of day, have it be Blade's daughter or son or something like that. And Wesley Snipes' Blade would still be there, which would retroactively make those 3 Blade movies part of the MCU.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
In that same year, Lee's Hulk is MCU adjacent, sort of.
Damn, that see, and I want it to be in the MCU, but I'm totally cool with it being outside of it, like, because this was like Marvel's first stabs at everything, because they actually filmed Stan Lee's first cameo in this for Blade.
No
Really?
kidding.
Yeah, he was one of the cops that came in the dance party scene.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, and they cut it. They're like, no, it just doesn't feel right. This is to us, that's too camp in what we're trying to achieve. And I get it.
Shut this party down.
Are they the only people who's cut that Stanley cameo out?
No. There's other Stan Lee deleted cameos. I know that.
The first Stan Lee official cameo was it Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No, actually, it's before that. It goes back at the earliest is in, I think, the earliest that I know of is the TV movie The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, where I think Stan Lee plays one of the jury members.
Oh, cool.
So Stan Lee cameoing and things is like they just continued on with that tradition with the movies.
I mean, when you make...
I think the Incredible Hulk is innocent. Guilty of being too cute in those pants.
Well, what else do we love about this movie?
Besides the fact that it is a black superhero that's saving not only millions of fictional people, but helping uplift a company out of shambles.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we get a black female lead who's not a romantic interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was going to happen at some point, but then it didn't. And I was like, you know what? I was pretty cool with that too.
Right? Like, I don't know a ton of N'Bushe Wright. I know she's had like small appearances here and there, but I'm sad to say I don't know a lot of her work.
According to the oral history from Entertainment Weekly, she's no longer an actor. She had a personal tragedy happen, and it made her leave the industry.
Oh.
Really?
I think her father passed away, and she just walked away from it all.
Wow.
It sucks.
Oh man, because she kicked ass, man. Several occasions she saves Blade.
Yeah, it's great.
I was not expecting Blade to be a supporting character in his own feature film because she's very much the lead, which, considering where movies were, like genre movies like this were at that time, makes sense. It's kind of a 1989 Batman structure where Batman is the supporting character in his own movie, and Vicky Vale is kind of the way that we find our way into the Batman universe.
Yeah. Like she's like, yeah, like you said, she kind of spearheads the whole project of this, and she's researching, and she's a go-getter, and she kind of like a pioneer in Blade's world of creating weapons.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes ago, you had no idea this world existed. Now you're creating a coagulant to stop vampires. Wow.
We have no choice but to stand.
Oh, I loved her so much, and like, and what I love about coagulants, we stand some coagulants, right?
Yeah. Not all.
Yeah, because some are bad, I think.
Coagulants.
But what I love too is we don't really like. It's not she doesn't take it as a big deal as what she's doing. Like, this is just what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like, yeah, I'm kicking ass. Like, she just like takes it so in stride. I just loved her character so much.
Just because I want to talk about this, and this doesn't necessarily apply to this trope, but it's made aware of this. If you've listened to the Hollywood podcast, they talk about this thing called the swirl. Which is a thing that they since discontinued because it's just kind of a problematic thing that they were talking about in the first place. But at the same time, it's kind of an issue in Hollywood movies where if there is a movie starring a black man and the lead female actress is white, they do not hook up. Like, we all understand that we don't necessarily need a romantic coupling in all the things, but even in like before this current wave of films where everything is just, but they can be friends in the end. Before that, where everything was having people couple up, every single movie with a white man and a white woman as the leads, they would end as romantic interests. If the movie, like in Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy has a white actress co-lead, and they just end up being friends. And it's because in studio executive mind, black men be sexual because it would cause a scandal too much in just this in middle America. Case in point, going back to Beverly Hills Cop, which is originally written for Sylvester Stallone, those two characters, the characters that Eddie Murphy and the white actress co-lead in that movie, they were originally supposed to end up together whenever it was led by Sylvester Stallone, but whenever Eddie came in, for some reason, they no longer got together.
That's messed up.
Dude, not a fan.
And so I implore you to go look that out. It's contextually, it's nice whenever that a man and a woman cannot be romantic leads or just be in a romantic relationship at the end of the movie. But at the same time, because it's a movie that is led by a black man, like, I'm wondering if the studio was like, no, you can't do that because black men are dangerous.
Jeez.
That's gut-wrenchingly horrible. This is like my stomach hurts. Like that's
terrible. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's awful and abysmal and horrible.
Probably a good time to remind people that Black Lives Matter movement is still going on. Protests are still happening. And if you want to support charities and wherever way you want to donate by signing petitions or donating, we have all those resources on our Twitter page and any social media.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any thing that would be worthy to plug at this moment in time in the audio form?
Nothing that hasn't been on our list already.
Sure.
I think I haven't seen it yet, but I did mention in my my little snippet, Loving, which talks about the court case that basically overturned the ban on interracial marriages. So while you were talking about, this controversial, move done by Hollywood, it's like, let's just talk about like the history of, or let's look at like how, interracial marriages and relationships in general just came to be like significantly recognized across the country. So I definitely recommend that movie. Plus, like, it was, I believe Ruth Negga was nominated for an Oscar.
Nice.
oh wow.
Where can you find that movie?
I think like on all major just online platforms. I will look it up real quick.
Is it one of those you have to rent or you can stream?
I believe you have to rent it, but let me check.
Actually, HBO Max has it, Hulu, and Prime if you're subscribed.
Nice.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah. So
I
I'll say that.
remember saying something in my bit, but it's been a while.
Yeah, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Go, also HBO Max. So those, if you have a subscription, are available on there. But yeah, it's a great movie. And honestly, it wasn't that long ago in our history, and I think it's important that we reflect on that case that the Loving couple, which is their name, that won that court battle, which was terrible that it should have even been an argument.
All of this discussion makes me, just to draw it back into the film, makes me appreciate this more as a Wesley, as a mainstream property that is controlled by a black man that launched careers. Like David S. Goyer, without this movie, he would be nothing. He would be a nobody.
Mhm.
Well, maybe not necessarily a nobody, but he would still be like one of the things that he worked on. I think it came out the exact same year as this. It's the David Hasselhoff Adventures of Nick Fury TV movie that came out for Fox. Like he was,
Oh yeah.
and it's like Wesley Snipes being attached to this helped launch David S. Goyer. Wesley Snipes and this movie series helped bring Marvel out of bankruptcy. Like the superhero film as a whole kind of begins because of Wesley Snipes kind of putting his foot down and going, this is how I want the movie to feel. Like it's incredible that he gets to be one of the auteurs of this thing. It's just not a thing that happened. Like it would be what at this time, maybe Will Smith and Denzel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oprah to a degree, but she's more on TV. But anytime that she comes to movies, it's definitely, this is an Oprah project. But who else gets to call their shots like this and then also be financially rewarded with it and also have it not be labeled as a quote unquote black movie, which is just speaking for my own biases. Like that's one of the reasons that I just haven't seen more of black cinema or really kind of anything else outside of white cinema in general, because even subconsciously I'm like, right, but Best Man Holiday isn't really for me.
Oh my gosh, Best Man Holiday is so good.
I bet it is.
My best friend and I cried, but she like cried so hard that like she was low key like wailing, and my mom was in the next room going like, "Who is crying?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my best friend." And she goes, "Oh, well, God, it sounds like she's crying as if like somebody like got seriously hurt or died." And I'm like, "Well,
man just went on holiday."
But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's what Wesley Snipes was afraid that this was going to get taken like a blaxploitation film, and that's why he was like, "No, we're doing this, dead serious. Everybody is taking this as seriously as possible." And yeah, Kenny, I think you're right. Like if it wasn't for this film, David S. Goyer might not have been taken as seriously because they'd be like, "No, everybody wants camp. They don't want world building. They don't want this, like he took an idea of a council of old vampires that secretly run the world and made it believable.
It was great. It was awesome.
Like it's phenomenal, dude.
And I'm like, of course, I'd be attracted to the douchey Deacon Frost, but that's another story for another podcast episode.
If you donate to $25 a month, you get to listen on Olivia's therapy sessions as she explores her desire towards douchey men.
You're not wrong. But I saw a video essay on Blade, and the way they described it is. Say that again?
Nice.
Thank you. But the way they described it was, think of the MCU as a house. You have your pretty pictures, and you have the pretty pictures are like Guardians of the Galaxy, and the couch is kind of like Iron Man 3, like it's there. You don't always go to it though. The front porch is
Iron Man 3 couch always.
Iron Man 3 is great.
I actually did see Iron Man 3.
It's a movie. The porch outside and the front door, that's like your Marvel Avengers. That's what people are going to see. But at the foundation, what's holding it all up is Blade. And it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. But if it wasn't for that foundation, that house would cave in and not be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Can you go ahead and make that a graphic?
What? No.
But yeah, I think, and Chris Christopherson as I know I said I almost said I want Blade to be Whistler, but I want Wesley Snipes to be Whistler in the upcoming film.
Yeah.
But Chris Christopherson kills it too.
Oh, he does.
Right.
I always get him confused though with Jeff Bridges.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, is that just me? And
No.
That's so interesting you say that, because I was watching this movie and I like Whistler first shows up and I was like, they hired the Grand Canyon to be Whistler, and I was like, oh, he's just really wrinkly.
Was that
But
John?
yeah, it's
Did you use
Jeff
on that actor?
No way, Chris Christopherson rules.
Okay.
It's
He
Chris
was in-
Christopherson.
Good.
Say it again, Olivia.
No, I was just gonna say he's in one of the readaptations of A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Is he in He's Just Not That Into You, Olivia?
I think so. Let me check. Aaron, go ahead and continue while I.
Holy shit! Is he? No, I was just gonna say that Jeff Bridges and Chris Christopherson are definitely the old white guys you go to if you're making a western. So that's totally okay that you confused.
Aren't they both singers too?
What?
Aren't they both singers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
that is the same person.
that makes it more confusing. Okay, wait. Yeah, he's Jennifer Aniston's dad, and He's Just Not That Into You.
Nice.
See, I thought it was Jeff Bridges.
Right on. Yeah, Blade is foundation for superhero cinema. X-Men would come out in 2 years. People would be like, superheroes are back, but really it was kind of
was a Blade.
yeah.
And he was the first R-rated superhero film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody gives that credit to Deadpool, but sorry, that was done decades ago.
Mhm.
Right, but Deadpool knows that he's in a rated R movie.
So does Blade. That's the thing. But
No,
nobody
but Deadpool knows.
Yeah, like
and talks about it.
Deadpool's like, I think I'm in an R-rated movie.
Whoopty boopy boopy.
Blade never had to break the fourth wall.
That's true.
True. Like, God, he's so cool, dude. Like, even when he stops the cop from shooting Boucher, and like he turns his neck to like show him, like he's someone's. What does he call him? Like someone's whore or someone's property.
Familiar. Yeah.
Like,
Familiar.
he's just so cool.
So basically what you're saying is that Blade is definitely a cab. Anyways,
Definitely.
the Rotten Tomatoes game. The Rotten Tomatoes game is based off of the website Rotten Tomatoes, a film review aggregator that takes all submitted film reviews, averages them out by a pass-fail system that assigns a percentage on how many people might think a movie is either fresh or rotten. That this is not a score that a film is X% good. It is only a score of how many people liked it. I will be asking our three panelists, James, Aaron, and Olivia Self-Care Queen / Deacon Frost Boo Suarez, for
Glad you know that.
scores, one being the critical approval rating and the audience approval rating, and they will be giving me score guesses without going under. Starting with Miss Suarez, out of 103 critical reviews, what is the critical approval rating for Blade, directed by Stephen Norrington, director of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
I want to say maybe 65%. So like close to passing. But maybe there's that uncertainty of like, will people? Maybe I'm thinking for audience score, but critically speaking, maybe they also just just the idea of revitalizing, revamping the superhero genre. Like it pays off to a certain extent. Maybe that's what I see critics thinking, but I don't know.
A great explanation. Olivia with a cautious 65%. Aaron Salinas.
I know the score, so go to James.
Okay, James, what do you think the critical score is for Blade?
I think I saw the score last week when I watched it, but I forgot it.
Damn it, you guys!
But James forgot it.
Well, I think I have a good idea of it.
Okay.
You want me to still say it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's 77.
77%. We obviously know why you think that, because you looked at it.
Because it's just on Vudu.
Well, don't do that.
I can't help it.
Yeah, you can. Just don't look at it.
Can I just automatically win because I was
next to the play button. Yes, Olivia should win.
Well, hold on, Aaron. What's the score?
It's either Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes, but it's 45 or 55.
Oh shit.
Aaron, you are correct with 55, which means that Olivia. Aaron, I've got to take your first number, which is 45. Olivia, you're closest without going under the correct answer.
Woo!
And because Aaron had seen the score beforehand, he has to give our winner $30.
No, that's not fair. I just regularly check this score.
But you know what? If you did give me the $30, I would donate it to one of the organizations we have listed on our social media accounts.
It's really
No.
Olivia be able to donate. But perhaps our panelists have not looked at the audience score out of 499,672. Starting with Mr. Salinas, what do you think the audience approval rating is for Blade?
This one I don't know, but I want to say 76.
76%. Why 76?
Just because I feel like there's a lot of hate on this movie when it originally came out. That later generations, when they're watching this, they're like, "No, this is pretty fun. This is a fun action movie. Like this is like I recently started getting into Mad Max only because I used to think Mad Max was like I wasn't allowed to watch it until I became a 45-year-old dad and just like liked it and just like got off to adrenaline packed movies. But no, they're just kind of a cool fun film. So, and that was on my bias of thinking that those movies weren't for me. Similar to Blade, how people weren't like, no, this is kind of cool. It's not just some silly vampire killing thing. It's a cool movie.
Sidebar.
Granted.
I just purchased Fury Road, and there's a 45-minute making of documentary on I think the Movies Anywhere app that just came out. They literally just uploaded it recently. Of fairly candid interviews from George Miller and Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy going, yeah, we were not exactly the best people on that set. It was hell. We were in the desert for 9 months and we were genuinely going crazy. And I should have treated George Miller better, and I should have treated my co-stars better.
Yeah, I just recently read that too, that like Tom Hardy like would visibly snap at George Miller because if I'm not mistaken, not only was it 9 months, but they were shooting in sequence.
Yeah.
And like it just felt really tedious. And on every like anytime they could, they'd be like, what in the happy feet mind are you thinking, Mr. Miller, that any of this is going to make sense? And that like after they saw the final project, they went up to Charlize specifically went up to George Miller and said, "I'm so sorry. This was a vision." Like,
yeah, like, and in that same documentary, Tom Hardy, they're in a press conference, and Tom Hardy very publicly says, "I treated you very badly, and I genuinely want to say I apologize for the way that I acted."
That's not. I mean, I don't blame them. It looks incredible, and like 80% of the film was like practical effects or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it was practical.
For fake. Anyways, what do you think the audience approval rating is for Blade?
Me, James Fight?
Yes.
I didn't look at the score, so I don't know. So I'm going to say 86% because this movie's awesome and people love camp. And not even camp, it's just like how awesome it is.
Yes.
But they love the snarkiness.
That's true. I do love snarkiness. Miss Juarez, what do you think the audience approval rating is for Blade?
I'm going to say 82% because -4 on what James said, but +6 on what Aaron said.
Damn it.
I didn't know the math.
Which is funny because I'm a journalism major.
Well, looks like that journalism degree is paid off because Olivia, you have won the rare twofer.
Whoa!
Really?
The correct answer is 78%.
Nice.
Oh my
Dang
god!
it. Who off?
That whoever's movie this is, which is Aaron's movie, also
Wait, it is?
$30 plus whatever the differential is from the initial guess. So that would be another $36 to Olivia, which lets her be able to donate to a good charity. $66 is very kind of you, Aaron.
I'm in between paycheck. Okay.
Aaron, these are just the rules. These are the rules.
I know.
Okay, in all fairness though, because I don't want our listeners to get the wrong idea, like each of us have made significant contributions to those nonprofits, those organizations that we have listed. So just so that way people don't misconstrue the idea that we're trying to dodge from donating to a good cause.
Yes. Very good on there.
Also, this is a bit. Aaron, we never have to make Aaron pay. It's just a fun little gag.
True.
Love him.
I mean, I think you should pay.
I think you should
everyone
too.
should pay.
James, you know what? Aaron, pay James for saying that.
All the boys who wronged me should pay.
That's right. Aaron pays for all the wrongs that she's gotten.
You're gonna be bankrupt.
Okay.
Well, that's been our episode of Shame Watch. Thank you to Denise Hudson for our rockin' theme song and to James Garcia for our artwork. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Wait. Sooner or later, the Thirst Always podcasts.
That's a good one, Olivia.
Thanks. It's also true, though. The original line is sooner or later, the thirst always wins. That was Blade's mom and Preach, especially during this quarantine.
Preach.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yes. Continue, James.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Shame Watch on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever podcasts
Wait. Some motherfuckers are always trying to podcast uphill. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
And that's what they said in the original 1998 film.
They did.
Yeah, it's weird. They were talking about this podcast thing and no one knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, Blade not only brought the superhero genre back, but they also launched the podcast industry.
And we thank him for that every day. Well,
Yes.
We should at least. But do you have suggestions, questions, comments, or general tomfoolery you want to contribute to the pod?
Wait.
Send it our way.
Naughty. I'm going to be a naughty vampire podcast.
Amazing.
Have suggestions, questions, comments, or general tomfoolery you want to contribute to the pod? Send it our way. Visit us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at ShameWatchPod so we can talk with you. Finally, you can contribute to our Patreon at patreon.com/ShameWatch. It does cost money to put out superb content like this pod, so even a $1 donation can make a huge difference. And now we play what are our rewards on the Patreon? Olivia, what's our $10 level?
$10 means you get every single bonus thing included in all of the lower tiers, and that a lot of that includes the bonus episodes, behind the scenes content, the conversations we have before the show, my autograph headshots, which are coming, people, after I'm not a red tomato anymore. And then we've got pictures of Aaron's feet and a haiku as well. So
That's right.
Don't forget to be the $10 tier, because that's the one I know.
Got your back. Kenny, can you answer what the $7 tier is?
Absolutely, James. Along with getting all the previous things at the $2 and $5 level, you'll also be able to get special behind-the-scenes stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Contribute and help pick our next movie marathon, or in the case of our quarantine, our next commentaries. That's it.
And Aaron, what does $5 give you?
$5 gets you all of the other perks we're going to get to. but included are the yummy bits. Everything that we talk about before the podcast, you now have the option to take a listen to.
And at the $2 level, you get our marathon, or in this case, in the future, you get our quarantine commentary on movies. You get Shame Watch TV, and you get our love and eternal affection. And you get to hear your name on the podcast, which I'm about to do.
What?
Starting with Kenny Madison,
Of Austin, Texas.
Aaron O. Salinas,
Of Austin, Texas.
Gene Fight,
Of Bowling Green, Ohio.
Alan Smith,
Of Leander, Texas.
Bradley McPherson,
Of Tulsa, OK.
Jennifer Steinberg,
Of Austin, Texas.
Herc,
Of Austin, Texas.
Ian Keegan,
Of Gillette, Wyoming.
Danny Cantu,
Of San Marcos, Texas.
Miranda Suarez,
Of San Marcos, Texas.
Irene Suarez,
Of San Antonio, Texas.
and Nolan Barger, who knocked on my door just earlier.
Austin, Texas.
Woo!
Until next time.
James, wait. I'll tell you what we are, sister. We're the top of the fucking food chain. The blood god's coming, and after tonight, you people are fucking history. He's a hurricane, an act of God. Anyone caught in his path will instantly be turned. Everyone you've ever known, everyone you've ever fucking loved. It won't matter who's pure-blooded, who's not. How are you going to cure the whole fucking world, And Blade's podcast is the key.
Oh, boy. Good monologue. Good. Until next time, our watch has now ended. Dive at your own risk.
We stand a coagulant.